You are watching or listening to Medium Talk, the show where we skip the small talk but still keep it short for you. And I'm your host, Cole Nunley. Every day of our lives, at least in mine, it is a battle between conscious and subconscious. Should I get an ice cream? I don't want an ice cream, but I do want an ice cream. I want and I don't want an ice cream. You get what I'm saying? It took hundreds of millions of years to get from bacteria to ape, but only a little over 200,000 to get from ape mind to modern human intelligence. Our super intelligence creates consciousness, which can evolve much faster and differently than our biological selves. So how does this impact you? Well, I'm no scientist by any means, but here are my thoughts. Example 1. Men can produce sperm until they're up to 70 years old. They produce millions of sperm cells. In our biological past, we have mated with multiple female mates. In modern society, and by modern I mean going back thousands of years, we have transitioned to more monogamous, that's not the right word, I know it, relationships. We stick to one mate. Why? Well, because of social pressures, religious pressures. But there's another element which I think is more important. And let me explain all this with just a casual example. I'm a male, and I look around and I see women that are attractive. I check them out. It's a subconscious thing. My eyes just automatically go to it. Yes, I find other women attractive besides my girlfriend. However, the reason I stick with my girlfriend is because I have this idea of love. I have this idea of invested interest. I am invested in her as a partner. I choose to stick with her and not to mingle with other women because I know it's valuable to invest all my time, all my emotional resources into her, one person, because I think that it will lead to a more successful life for the both of us, and if we do decide to have children, a more successful life for them as well. So the conflict is, our bodies as men, we look around and want to have sex with other women at a subconscious level. But at a more conscious level, we don't want to have sex with other women. We want to invest in a single mate. So we're constantly having to fight our subconscious with our conscious. It's the same thing as wanting the ice cream, but not wanting the ice cream. Fairly the same thing. It's much more complicated. There's a lot more elements to it. This is not an exhaustive discussion, but I'd like to move on. That's the root of it. Example 2, women. Women produce a limited amount of eggs in their lifetime. They can have a very limited amount of children. So they are much more selective about their mates. But how they select those mates is certainly changing over time. I'll give you an example. I'm kind of a nerdy dude, and nerdy dudes can have really great success. And you think, why? Well, they have bad skin, they have diseases, they have asthma, and they have pale skin and bad social skills. But you see a lot of nerdy fat dudes with women. Why is that? Well, a lot of nerdy or fat dudes are comedic. They're funny dudes, but also they're smart. They can get good jobs and support their families. It's simple. Now, this is a pretty big generalization, but we're talking big numbers here over a lot of time. So I have to generalize, and this is a short video, so don't get fucking triggered at me, okay? Thanks. But now, women are struggling. Women still want sexy dudes. They still want men with rock hard abs. But they also want a man that is smart, not a fucking idiot, knows how to do taxes, isn't gonna leave them, isn't gonna leave her and her child, isn't gonna beat her, doesn't have anger issues. They want men that are smart, can handle themselves appropriately, and are good partners. Now, I'm not a woman, so I can't speak for their actual emotions, but I see this as a possible conflict between their consciousness and their subconscious. Example 3. Since the beginning of life itself, survival of the fittest has driven evolution. May the strongest, smartest, fiercest animal win and spread its seed. In modern times, humans have been trying to free themselves from Mother Nature. We've tried to become nicer, more thoughtful, and a unified species. But this leads to some conflict, because in our subconscious, we care about the people around us and ourselves the most. It's just our nature. But every now and again, we donate to charity or help somebody out that we don't know because we're trying our best as humans to overcome our subconscious and become a nicer, more peaceful species. And maybe with further globalization, we'll work out the kinks and finally achieve some model of world peace. My fourth and last example might help you understand this a little bit more. This is all exactly the same thing as addiction. Your body needs it or wants it, but your mind doesn't want it because you know it's bad for you, impacts your life, but your body is dependent on it. Your body is wired to want that substance. You want to smoke it, but you don't at the same time. You want that ice cream, but you don't want it. It's the same thing, just a little bit different, on a different level. But really, that's all it is. You want to mate with many women, but you don't. You might instinctively want a hot, sexy man with six-pack abs, but you also want a smart guy. But hey, that's not to say there aren't both. I mean, I'm working on my six-pack, so... If you disagree with something I've said, or you have some thoughts, please comment below. There are plenty of examples of this kind of stuff. Evolutionary psychology is a big field. This has been an episode of Medium Talk. I'm your host, Conan Lee. Keep creating, folks.